let's get reaction then from the alcohol industry. We're joined by CEO of the Beer Association, Patricia Pillay, who is going to be in conversation with us. Patricia, good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. What was your reaction then to hearing about this 14-day alcohol ban?
Well, I think to many people it will seem like it's just 14 days. But to an industry that has been going through this on and off ban for the last year and a half, it's not just 14 days. It is the nail in the final poverty coffin that we find ourselves in.
And talk to us then about the knock-on effects that this is likely to have, particularly on those working in the sector.
Sadly, and the president talks about the hills to climb, and there's no more hills for us to climb, because from the onset of our initial shutdown, we have not received any compensation as an industry. We're not allowed to get any claims. We don't get any loans. There's nothing in place for us. So all these livelihoods of people now who are not able to trade on or off consumption, they are actually now in dire straits. It's actually in a terrible situation that we find ourselves in, because these are people who've now actually lost all their income. In sense, they've put everything towards staying alive for the last year and a half, and now they've been further shut down. We've got messages also, and I know Wendy is also going to come on the line, from restaurant owners themselves who said they're not going to bother to open because of their dependency on their alcohol sales as well. And so for us, it is really a sad day, because all our pleas to government to balance lives and livelihoods has totally gone unheard.
And Wendy, good evening. I do understand that you are now with us for this conversation. She is, of course, with the Restaurants Association. Certainly hearing from Patricia there, who says that restaurants are simply not going to bother to open because, there isn't patrons that are going to be coming to be able to consume alcohol on site, but also there may not be people ordering the takeaways or even deliveries. What's your reaction then to the President's address tonight?
We appreciate that there are difficult decisions that needed to be made. But again,
All right. It does look like we have a challenge with Wendy's connection. We're trying to re-establish a connection with her. But Patricia, if we can then talk about
the restaurant industry has been the industry that's been hit the hardest. And, there's been very little communication and consultation from government. And again, I have to stand and ask, who in the ministerial division is actually taking care of the restaurant industry? Whilst the Minister of Tourism is fulfilling 2 ministerial roles, I think there's a massive impact that has been left behind that has not been fulfilled in letting the voice of the restaurant industry be adequately heard. Again, we're sitting now in a decimated place. There's absolutely no plan for any type of financial support. There's no mention of TERS. The vulnerable, beautiful people that work in our restaurants are all being put on unpaid layoff. We're going to stand the risk of losing hundreds and thousands of jobs. And this is due to proper consultation and lack of consultation with government, and all the hard work that we've done over the last 14 months to advocate that we are actually a structured environment that can keep people safely entertained in an environment where we can execute the highest degree of protocols and regulations. And if this is how we are deemed to be high risk, why have we not been bumped up on the vaccination roll, and why have we not been expedited to being able to get the vaccines out far quicker, that we can trade our industry without minimal improvisions that we've got now as what's currently facing us as we speak of today.
And Patricia, it was always going to be a catch-22 when you're balancing the issue of alcohol, especially because some in the medical fraternity have actually welcomed this, and they say that for them this is a welcome relief because they'll have less trauma cases, while at the same time you're talking to us then about the livelihoods that may be lost as a result of this. But certainly government is finding itself in a difficult position here, because some people who consume alcohol are not necessarily responsible.
Yeah, I think we totally appreciate that. And from the onset, as an industry, we've worked with government, we've tried to work with government and tried to support government every step of the way. So we've contributed millions of rands towards PPE right at the onset with the department, working with them. We have worked towards the Newzroom facility, which I must add is now closed, and we don't have reasons for that or have not been given reasons for that. We've even offered to contribute in terms of delivering of the vaccines. We've also contributed in terms of offering our services with regards to our centers to actually do testing as well as to do out the rollout of the vaccines. There's many other initiatives that we've put into place to say to government that we will try and assist through this process to alleviate the pressure that the abuse of alcohol may be causing at this time. But, and I've raised this a few times already, is that when we were first locked down, if we recall what the president said, he said, I'm locking you down at the moment because we want to get the hospital system in order. And this is the time that we need to get everything together. And that was a year and a half ago, and nothing has changed. Our systems are not geared up as yet. Nothing is in place. The systems that were supposed to be put in place are not there. Yet we continue to be banned and locked down as if the livelihoods in our industry do not count. And when you listen very carefully to what the president said, it seems as if every other economy and every other business in this economy is important, but not the alcohol industry, which is a legal industry in this country.
Wendy, when you look at the fact that restaurants can still open for takeaways or deliveries, do you think that many restaurants will have the capacity to do this? Are you even going to bother to open restaurants in order to try and offer some kind of a service?
You know, this is absolutely decimating news for the industry. You know, once again, we look at where we're sitting in a position 40 months down the line, exactly what Patricia says. We have handed ourselves over to government in every amenable way to work in a favorable way to give them the support that they need to talk to us in allowing us to be able to be responsible in the advocacy of keeping lives and livelihoods afloat. This last instant now just shows a complete lack of integration and respect for a very valuable industry that creates millions of jobs, not only within our industry, but then the extended food chain of everybody's livelihoods that are supportable for our businesses. This is terrible news. I mean, we will not be able to trade our businesses, and again, it puts us in a compromising position. Third-party deliveries are going to get the most amount of maximum profitability out of the structure. Our businesses are trading at a fraction of potential turnover in 100% of expense. We're sitting with large debt that we have accumulated over the last couple of months or the last 14 months. We're sitting in a position where the banks have closed lending on us. The insurance companies have remodeled their policy so there is no reprieve on that. We're sitting with landlords who look for the first avenue to shut us down and to terminate those lease contracts. We're sitting with beautiful, vulnerable people who are desperate to work in our industry are now going to go on unpaid layoffs. Where has the proper consultation been? Where has the Minister of Tourism been? Who is advocating for us? Who is actually looking out for the industry to keep us and support us? We are regulated, tax-paying, compliant custodians of liquor licenses. We are there to be able to keep people in a safe environment. And we have over time shown that we are not the cause of where COVID is being transmitted in. And we've said to government on every turn, give us the scientific evidence, give us the statistical data, let us work with you and find new structures. Yet again, in the last 2 weeks, we've come up with further solutions to in-house test all our staff by having on-site testing that we can show that they are COVID-free, to sanitize and to fog our establishments, that they are COVID-free. None of these implementations and further protocols and regulations that we put into effect are considered by way to keep our businesses open. And to take this blanket approach and shut us down is just cause for an unnecessary decimation of our industry again. And it shows that we've learned nothing from the last 14 months of where we've been. And there's no evidence that the past lockdowns have done anything for the industry except grow the illicit trade. And again, from tomorrow, we're going to compromise our beautiful industry by allowing a second economy to take from the richness of people's jobs, livelihoods, kill business, and decimate an industry.
And Patricia, as we round up this conversation very briefly, are you concerned as an industry then about the black market sales that we may see thrive in these 14 days?
Absolutely. I can tell you, if you haven't received a WhatsApp or SMS already with the specials, then I think that you're in the wrong WhatsApp group. I've certainly received at least 2 or 3 already. The market's already celebrating. So I can assure you that that 11.3 billion illicit loss that was calculated in the Euromonitor study, that is going to double and triple. And like Wendy said, is that we have been legally compliant, we have done all we can, and our members have been compliant. But government has really put people in a corner now and made people desperate. And here on out, as associations, when we go to our members and say to them, you need to comply and you need to make sure you do the right thing, I'm not sure they're going to listen to us anymore. And so I can say, I don't know, Wendy, how you feel about this, but if I find that members now are trying to earn a livelihood, I'm not sure how we're going to control that.
All right. Thank you so much to you both for your time tonight. Certainly, I tell you what, Patricia, I am in the wrong WhatsApp groups. I certainly haven't received any message to that effect tonight. But thank you to you both for your time. That was Restaurants Association of South Africa CEO Wendy Alberts and Beer Association of South Africa CEO Patricia Pillay. Let's take a recap.